Last week we told you about Senator John McCain's secret trip to Syria, where he met with rebel leaders in an effort to push the Obama administration into arming the opposition. Senator McCain and others insist that we can find the right rebels, you know, the good guys. Unfortunately, his photo op reportedly included a rebel commander who's been implicated in the kidnapping of Lebanese Shia pilgrims. Oops. Senator Rand Paul took a jab at his colleague.
I'm very worried about getting involved in a new war in Syria. And people say, well, Assad is such a bad guy. He is. But on the other side, we have al-Qaeda and now Nusra. And then they say there are some pro-Western people, and they say, oh, we're going to vet them. Well, apparently we've got a senator over there who had a picture taken with some kidnappers, so I don't know how good a job we're going to do vetting those who are going to get the arms.
According to a new Gallup poll, 68% of Americans oppose U.S. military intervention in the Syrian conflict. For now, it looks like Senator McCain will be the only one going to Syria. Speaking of Syria, you know the Tea Party groups who complained about the IRS subjecting them to extra scrutiny? Well, they're not alone. The Hill has reported that a number of Syrian American relief groups are facing unusual delays in their application for tax-exempt status. Normally, the process takes 1 year at most, but some of the Syrian American groups filed over 2 years ago, and they still don't know the status of their applications. These groups were established to provide direly needed aid to victims of the Syrian conflict, and they deserve a timely response from the IRS. This week, the House voted on the appropriations bill for the Department of Homeland Security. The good news is the bill prohibits federal funding for law enforcement training or programs that discriminate based on race, ethnicity, or religion. The bad news is that the bill continues to fund DHS's controversial 287G program. 287G gives state and local police and sheriffs the power to enforce federal immigration law, which often leads to profiling and intimidation. DHS Secretary Janet Napolitano wants to cancel the task force program, calling it inefficient, and a federal judge said that the program's training is legally flawed. But an amendment to defund 287G, first proposed by Congressman Jared Polis of Colorado, was defeated. It's the end of an era.
I have decided next year I will not seek a 5th congressional term.
Countdown's favorite conspiracy theorist, Michele Bachmann, has announced she won't seek re-election. Although we'll miss the jokes, her departure is good for the country and for the Republican Party. She may have been a darling of the far-right wing, but her antics, her ethics probe over improper use of campaign funds, and her potential loss next year to a Democratic challenger in a heavily Republican district are all liabilities for her party. We're sure we haven't heard the last of Michele, but in the meantime,
It's insulting to say that these are political speech, because that's one thing I do not do, is political speech.
we'll have to look elsewhere for the comedy.